Did you know that most service-based businesses don't actually have a lead problem? They have a conversion and a clarity problem. And yet the default response is still more content, more visibility, and far more effort. Welcome to the Wickedly Branded Podcast. I'm your host, Beverly Cornell. And today's conversation is going to challenge a lot of what you think you need to grow, because we're not talking about doing more. Thank you. We're talking about fixing what actually drives revenue. I'm joined by Kanika Vasudeva. Her name is beautiful. I love her name. Who helps service-based business owners simplify their business, strengthen their offer and positioning, and fix how they sell so that growth becomes far more predictable and a whole lot less complicated. Kanika, welcome. I'm really excited you're here today.
I'm so on for this.
Before the call, we actually realized that we do very similar things, and the world has a way of connecting people in times and places. And I'm so excited to dive in here and learn more about your story. So talk about what sparked your business, which from what I know wasn't necessarily like some magical moment, but actually something really hard. So talk about what started the business and why. What do you wish more people knew about those early days of being a business owner?
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people start their business because of passion. Some people have to start it because of life. I started from that. Life happened. I had to do it. And passion exists now. So if I take you back to that moment, I was in my corporate work. I was getting paid really well. Not super enjoying it, but not super unhappy with it either. It was doing a fantastic job running my life. And then my son's dad got diagnosed with cancer. My son was 7 years old at the time, and I wanted to be there for him while his dad was getting his chemotherapy, while he was in the emergency, because the first few times the chemotherapy, he just had reaction to it. He needed to stay in the hospital a lot longer. And I said, look, you just look after yourself during this time, and I'm going to look after our son. And we are separated, but I told him then that we were together still as a family. And I'm there. I'm there to look after our son. I'm there for us. And so overnight, things changed. And I just decided to be there for my son because he was so used to being 1 week with his mom, being 1 week with his dad. And I did not suddenly want my parents to be picking him, dropping him, because he's not grown up with them. He does not speak their language. It's just foreign. And he is a little kid who's also seeing his dad go through everything. I didn't want that time to also feel like now I don't even know what's happening in my personal life. I really wanted to be there for him. My manager at the time said that he wanted to see me more present in the office. To give him the benefit, he and I had not worked together for a really long time. So he didn't know what I was doing, or because I'd been in the company for years and I'd always been able to manage my personal life and professional life. And he just wasn't that person. But I think also it was such a gift that he did that, because if he hadn't done that, I would have not had my business. We had this conversation. Next day, I went to him and I said, look, I understand that you have some expectations of me. I just can't do them at this time. So why don't I just apply for a sabbatical and I'll take a 6 months leave? And I felt that was a nice, safe way for me to get out of the corporate role, see what I needed to do. But basically, in short, now I had a 6 months leave, unpaid. I had to make my business work during that time.
It's a bit of a fire in the belly, for sure.
Yeah. I had to make it work for me emotionally and financially. Emotionally, it had to have the space that I was there for my son's pickup and drop-offs.
Oh my gosh.
It had to work financially.
Yeah, it had to. There was no other, this has got to work. Yes.
Yeah. And so then I started thinking, okay, what do I do so that I'm able to work my business while being there for my son whenever he needs me? And that's how online marketing and online positioning myself really started. I targeted more US clients because I live in Australia, and those hours worked for me. And I took so many courses. I had so much internal shifts. I would love to say, oh, it was a magic pill. I did that. But it was so much sweat and tears and complete collapsing. And in the process, I learned how much clear I had to be, because every time I was getting clear, I could attract more clients.
Hold
So
on a second. Because what you said is huge. Every time you got clearer, you attract probably not just more clients, but more aligned clients, I'm assuming. And so that clarity for yourself was like your superpower.
yeah, totally. And now that I've done several iterations of this, I can tell you this. In the beginning, I was so afraid of the newness of things. I was really uncomfortable without knowing things, without the how of things and how things would be done. It would take me a long time. I would overthink my offer and I would play it safe. So, funny story. I was launching my membership. This gives you an example of how much I lived in my head. And I spent a whole lot of time in a membership that was not launched. I spent a whole lot of time, months, making my automations perfect. I did not have a client. And I spent time perfecting my automations because my brain felt that was something I could tackle. It would feel a sense of completion, a sense of accomplishment, because I could see the automation working well. And I would go, okay, I've done this.
So it's safety. You were in such a unsafe position of launching this big thing and doing this new thing. And the thing I know about high achieving women is we like to do things well. Otherwise, it doesn't feel safe, right? Failure for women who are high achieving, who have a lot of internalized perfectionism, fear, doubt, and things like that. We need safety. We need the plan. We need the steps. We need I feel this.
Totally. So actually being on the opposite end and going, okay, why is my offer not working? What can I do to actually have conversations? What do I do to actually promote it? That was needed, was unfamiliar, so I shied away from it.
So I'll do that last.
Exactly. That is what turns my business. But you know what? I don't know this, so let me just look here. And of course, with time, you realize, oh God, I do not have enough money to keep going. I really need to make this work. So that's when I invested more into courses. And I got one of my biggest feed. She said, well, I'm looking at all that you are doing, but I'm still not clear when I look at your page. I just do not understand what you are doing. I hated the feedback.
But I remember, Kanika, I was in my master's program and I was doing a class on content analysis. It was a content analysis, it was. And I was writing, I had come from a teaching university. So we write differently for teaching universities than we do for research universities. So the professors are very different. And how they write is for dissertations and thesis and research papers. And so I get my very first, I'm thinking I'm killing it. I am writing this amazing paper. I submit it and my teacher, I've never seen more red on a paper ever in my life. And I came home crying to my mother saying, maybe I can't do graduate school. Maybe I'm not meant for it. And she was like, this is just information. What you do with the information is what makes you who you are. And so either you learn and you grow and you do what you need to do for this particular place and time with this work, or you decide to stay small and live in the only world you know. And I was like, same thing. And sometimes that is just information for you to decide to stay the way you are or to expand. And so I'm so glad you expanded and you did something with it, right?
Yeah. And I think I love your mom's words because you can be uncomfortable staying small. You can be uncomfortable staying safe.
Yeah.
Or you could be uncomfortable up here and at least have more money, have more expansion, right? Either way, it is uncomfortable. So now I've come to realize that I'd rather take the more expansive, uncomfortable. So that was that, Kanika. I'll give you a mid example. There was a time in between when I got this idea of launching a summit. I took probably 2 months, even just doing my first page with this membership. That was a total flop. And then I got so comfortable with it that I got the idea. And I don't know, I had this idea and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. By the end of the day, I had actually put the page up. I had reached out to some speakers.
Bravo.
And it was when I went to bed at night, I was like, gosh, what did I do? And I have no idea. I've never run a summit ever. How am I going to do this? But I had already...
You will figure it out, literally.
Yeah, exactly. And I did figure it out. And was that moment for me where I learned that the more comfortable we can get being uncomfortable, the faster our growth is. Literally is nothing else.
The one thing I want to teach my child is that it's like failing is life. Don't expect success to be life. Life is failing and trying and trying. And the success comes from failing. That is the key to this. So be uncomfortable failing early. Be uncomfortable not knowing. And I tell them all the time, the one thing I do not know is I don't know everything. So if you think you know everything, that's a problem. It's the unknowing and the uncomfortableness that actually gets you to the next level. I have a friend of mine who talks about the comfort zone. And I think because you talk about being uncomfortable, it's really a powerful one. And I've talked about it on the podcast before. Our comfort zone is like a circle, right? We live in a circle. This is where we exist. And anytime we step out, and it needs to be intentional. Like you said, I'm just going to throw this page up and see what happens. It's an intentional, scary step. And anything that's worth something is going to be a little scary. I call it nervous-sighted. Like I'm nervous and excited at the same time, right? You step out of the comfort zone, you do the thing, and then the circle isn't circle anymore. Now you have a circle with a bump, and now the circle has to go around the bump. So you've expanded your circle of comfort. And very rarely do you ever go back in and contract in the circle. These intentional steps just keep expanding your comfort zone to a point where stuff stops being uncomfortable for the most part. It becomes rare and rare that things are uncomfortable because you're more comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I love the idea of it's okay to be uncomfortable, but it's uncomfortable, but it's also you become more comfortable being uncomfortable. And
Absolutely.
that actually is where the confidence is built, is in those moments. That's where confidence comes. Because I know you probably were killing it in the corporate world. You were like, I call it like corporate Barbie. You were working it. Like you were doing the thing, climbing the ladder, kicking butt, taking names. And that was your confidence. And then you just had to learn how that confidence translated into this world where you didn't have the ladder to exist inside. Now it was you were creating the container. And that's where it becomes nebulous and scary because there is no container. We start with this container, I believe, that comes from like post-industrial era, very male-centered, linear container. You get to decide as women now, more than ever, what the container looks like. And that unknownness is what's scary.
Yeah, and it's just so beautiful. I love how you framed it because it really is a process of just figuring out what do you want to do and doing that. Really, starting your business might be the most scary thing, but it is the ultimate form of self-love.
Yes, I love that. Self-love. Because entrepreneurship is triggering, right? Every insecurity you have, everything that you are like unsure about your life, about your life's decisions and choices, entrepreneurship is going to magnify and really make you uncomfortable in the biggest way. So yes, self-love though is the realization of where you come out at the end of it, that this is an expression, I think more for women specifically. Women do more service work where they serve others to their highest potential and want to make the big impact. And the work is very relational. Coaching, consulting, all of that is very relational. They help people be well. They help people be more organized. They help people be more successful, be clearer, be more consistent, whatever it is. There's very relational. So the work we do matters. So it's more tied to our intrinsic value as human beings. And we care so deeply that it's hard sometimes to separate work from the person. So when you're an entrepreneur as a woman, and you expand uncly and become more comfortable, that is an ultimate act of self-love for a female founder on so many levels. Yeah.
Totally. It's also the ultimate reason why we underprice ourselves because we inherently want to give, we want to nurture. And then it takes us a long time to go, no, I am worth it. And then you sit a little bit taller, you sit a little bit straighter. But to go through that, you have to first go, I'm worthy of more. My prices or the transformation that I bring about, it's just worth so much more. So it is that power from inside that nobody else takes you, but we sometimes have to learn it the hard way. And then when you start owning it, just a
different level. You talk about sitting straighter, but I also feel like just breathing easier. There's a constant anxiety, push, pull. There's this friction and elevation of energy when you're not in alignment. And so when you can sit in that, it's just a whole different feeling of impact and confidence and deep knowing that the work matters and it comes through in a very authentic way in the work you do and how you talk about your work. I love this so much.
A little bit about masculine energy and feminine energy, the way I see it.
Sure. I love it. Yes.
Okay. So the way I understand them, all of us carry both. Masculine energy, you would think of it more as electrical energy shift for them.
I see it a little bit differently. Can I share how I see it a little bit differently? So I think like when boys are younger, they're like socialized to be brave. And there's even research on how, like, I don't know the specific statistics, so bear with me, listeners, but something about the effect of like men will apply for a job if they have 40% of the characteristics, but women have to have 100% before we'll apply for it, right? Because women are socialized to please everyone else, not to please themselves, not to be brave in their choices. We're actually socialized to be safe on a really regular basis from every parts of our mind, our connections, our body, all of it.
Basically, not to be seen as ourselves, but as extensions of others around us.
Hey, I know you're listening today because you're ready to take your business and your brand to the next level. But if you're being honest with yourself, maybe even feeling a little bit lost, but you've got this big vision and you know that you're meant to make a bigger impact. But sometimes it's so hard to know where to start and which direction to take. Does that sound familiar? You're not alone. So many purpose-driven entrepreneurs feel the exact same way as you. That's why I created the Clarity Quiz, a simple tool that helps you get to the heart of what's holding you back and shows you where you need to focus next. No more second guessing, no more spinning the wheels, just clear, actionable insights that give you the confidence to move forward, that next best step. Taking the quiz will give you a deeper understanding of your brand's true potential and what's standing in your way. And the best part, it only takes like 3 minutes, but the results, they could transform the way you approach your business and brand forever. So if you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and you want to start showing up with purpose and clarity, go to wickedlybranded.com and take the quiz now. Yes, absolutely. And so what you call the masculine, I call power. Women need to fully live in their power to be clear and confident and to be the magnet. If they are confused or others, they have given.
Correct.
So when they fully claim not for everyone else, but for themselves, living for themselves in those choices, they resonate at a higher frequency. That's the magnetism you just talk about. And that's their like intuition and their power and their strength and their deep knowing that fully comes to life. And like, it's like sunshine coming off of your body, right? And people cannot resist it on such a level, right? Society and patriarchy and so many things. And I don't even think it's like men's fault because they've been socialized too. I don't blame men for this. It's not like they did something wrong or something bad. And so what I see in this and what I know in this from a deep perspective is because I've lived it. I've had to take inherited beliefs and decide if they were mine. And some of those inherited beliefs had gotten me to the place I was of success. So what do I keep? What do I remove? But it was this deep knowing, a return to myself that was powerful. You talked about how you had to get clear. And what I caution people on is I call it the man behind the curtain. More courses, more certifications, more everything to be able to decide that you are enough, that you know enough. Like really, you just need yourself. I'm not saying you don't need to go search for information, but there's no magic pill that you talked about. There's no magic one strategy fits all that will fix everything for you. It is the culmination of your work, your experience, your education, the transformations you've offered that create that deep centered knowing, and looking for it outside of yourself is dangerous. That is only continuing to give your power away to some degree. And I'm not saying like that for new people who just enter the workforce. Like you need experience, you need education, you need understanding. But people who are in midlife like us, like you have some real experience that's very powerful and you need to trust. If you don't trust yourself, expecting other people to trust you is going to be almost impossible. And women are, the words you use, self-love, love that word. I love that phrase, the self-love that you used earlier, of that it's like a tree almost, right? If you don't have all those roots planted firmly, you will sway and you won't be that tree that gives shade to other people, that helps other people if your roots are not strong enough. So that work is incredibly important, but also so hard. This is a great conversation on so many levels, Kanika, because I feel like it speaks to so much of what I've been working on in my life over the last few years.
Oh, yeah, totally. I hear you. So I believe absolutely the same way that for women, they've got to take their power or the divine masculine. That means just accepting themselves in their power, letting themselves be the center of all the world around them, rather than running for everyone else, saying, okay, I am the center stage, it's me. That's when women actually get powerful and they start creating the empires around them.
I believe as you evolve as a business owner and as you transition, you do evolve the definition of success. So talk about how success has evolved for you from the start of building your business to today.
Okay, and I love that question because I think when I was doing all of this, I would have loved to know steps of what happens. And this is how I see the shifts for everybody. In the beginning, as we start our business, there is a lot of internal shifts that need to happen, both for men, women. It's a lot of shifts. This would be imposter syndrome sometimes. This is, am I doing this right? Once you come over it and you start doing it, then there's still a lot more of, I've still got to do it. And I've still got to do it all. Some of the people at this stage, they'll start hiring. And now, at least, they're the first hires very commonly. But we're still only giving out the work that is very admin and routine level. Scaling after that happens when you are creating more white space for yourself. Meaning all the points when you have to think and do things, all those little points when you are able to outsource that. But you start doing that, and that is a up leveling. It's like repotting a plant. When you get a little plant, you put it in a pot, and there's a certain size it can grow in that pot. Now you need to expand the capacity. People around you, this would mean the systems around you, you create that capacity so that your business can grow a lot more. And you can do more of the things that you want to do. So it's more and more an act. Now it's shifting from self-love. It's now more going to, well, I'm living my dream life and I'm actually creating, visioning it, and just doing more and more of that.
So I have a framework where I talk about this kind of concept too. So I talk about fuel, focus, and fade. The things that fuel you, you need to obviously do more and focus on those things, and then fade the things that don't really drive us, that drain us. We need to fade those out to vendors, partners, or completely out of our lives. So fuel the things that light you up, focus on the things that you know are going to intentionally make a difference to expand your life, fulfill your life, the things that light you up and make you happy, and fade the things that drain. I would be more specific, suck your soul, like accounting is for me. You want to fade those things from your day-to-day as much as possible. Not that I don't appreciate accounting. Like the story that the numbers tell is very powerful for me to focus in a different way, Kanika. But you need to fade them from your day-to-day so that your capacity is more focused and more potted in a plant and a pot that fuels and builds the things that matter to you. So yes, I think that is 100% powerful for people who are going through that success evolution in a way. So what does success look like for you today, Kanika?
Success is all, lately it's been both meaning. The financial success, I think it's a side thing, but the meaning, and it's more the transformation that has happened. Now I want to just scale it up and do it at a much bigger level.
It's changing the world. And right now, more than ever, for me personally, in the political climate we live in, the world that we live in, women's agency is so much more important. And so I just feel very compelled that everything in my life has led to this moment, these moments, everything, every hurt, every wall I hit, every hardship, every resilience I had to build, everything has led me to here. And it was all for a reason. And that this is the reason. And that is that deep knowing that is like, I can't keep it small. It's almost like it's bursting out of the pot now, Kanika, because it's like, nope, too small. Beverly, you got to go bigger. So let me ask a question. You've worked with a lot of people in helping them develop this out too, which is so exciting. Or does it have to happen to you to the point where you're like, I'm miserable. I hate my life. I'm exhausted. But you have to get to that point, or can you intentionally do it?
We are all incredible manifestors. We may or may not believe it. We're manifesting what we think all the time.
Yeah.
So you can change it with that intention that, this is not what I like. Now let me sit down and change it. But if I'm in that rat race, it's going to stay the same because I haven't done anything to change it. If you do want to change, then we were talking about this earlier as well. Start making a list of the things that you do during your day,
Absolutely.
maybe in just 30-minute chunks, and just write them down. What are you doing? What is taking your time? Then say, okay, which one of these is energy draining? Which one can I now outsource? So you start creating capacity for that. But when you are actually creating your calendar, I'll walk you through a system so that people can just do it for themselves. Look at a new week, put that into maybe 3-hour chunks, because our brain is very good when it works with focused time. Interruptions actually reduce the time. Or if I would put it more simply, the more interruptions we have, the longer it takes for us to do a focused task.
That's so powerful, Kanika. I actually at midlife was diagnosed with ADHD and realized that my brain works very different than other people's brains and why I struggle with some of this. But it's nice to know, not just me, it's just that the brain in general needs to chunk and stack stuff, right? So the interruption is impossible. And while women are really good at multitasking, I would say perceived multitasking, because it's not really multitasking. It doesn't mean that it's actually healthy or good for your business if you don't have it interrupted times. Time is one of the things that we cannot get back. It is the most precious, finite item we have as humans, and guarding it with your life. I definitely chunk and stack my time. And there are days I don't have anything on my calendar for a reason, as you talked about, to just think and be creative and read or do whatever that inspires you. I garden. I love the gardening analogies because I garden. There's so much that you can do in that time that gives you spaciousness that will come back tenfold. As hard as it may seem for the person who has 1,000 things to do, start with a 3-hour chunk, start with a 1-hour chunk, whatever you can feel like you can give yourself that time, do the exercises. Drivers and drainers and fuel. What are the things that matter? The thing about that exercise that I love, Kanika, and this is the energy thing. I feel like you and I talk about this very similarly.
The first thing you would do on your calendar is that put those things first, the things that nourish you, the things that increase your energy.
Yes.
So that is your sleep. That is all the stuff that actually nourishes you. Meditation, going for a walk, like you name it, but you put those things because they are the fundamental. If you want holidays, and we should, so put those holidays in first. Then comes in your other non-negotiables after this. That could be like it was, and it still is, school drop-offs and pickups for me. But you put those things, the stuff that you really want to do, that's just valuable for you. Those are your values. But you just put your non-negotiables in there. That could be your date nights. That could be your family time. And whatever is really important to you, you put that. Now, after this, the next thing you put is your CEO time.
This is the spaciousness.
This is the thinking time. Yeah.
Yes, it says yes.
This is not the doing time. This is allowing the things to come in. So this is where you sit down and you think about, okay, what do I want to create now? So you do that. It's your ideation time. It's thinking ahead and allowing yourself, oh, what do I want to create? And maybe you have a chunk of it, like I have it every Sunday. I have that time where it's just thinking time. And I'm not doing anything. I might even just go for a walk, and that's that. And then after that, you put your promotion time. That's super important. Whether you have your teams doing it for you or you're doing it yourself, but everyday promotion connection is really important. Where I was failing in the beginning was I was hiding behind everything. Maybe you could call that promotion time, or I would really even make it clear. And I would say this is connection time. Because often we can confuse, we can go promotion time, fine, I'm going to do 10 different posts. We spend all our time doing the posts. You've not connected. You've not engaged with your audience. It's connection time.
So this is so powerful. I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying, Kanika. And just like you with the drop-off and pickup times, when my husband was deployed to Africa recently, I had to make a hard rule in my business that at 3:30, it was 3 o'clock, because at 3:30, my son gets home. At 3 o'clock, my day was done. Because when he got home, he needed a parent present because one of his parents was physically not in our home. So very much, I'm not saying it's like having cancer, but very much in their situation, you knew that he needed you more in that time. I knew that my son needed me more at that time. So I was very guarded with that time. And I put a cutoff in my calendar, no meetings after this time, so that I knew I could wrap up my day. If my meetings end at 3, I'd have 30 minutes to wrap up my day before he got home. That's not to say that I didn't go and do a little bit of work after he was home and things were good, but my day ended as far as the client was concerned. No more meetings, no more nothing after that time.
Now I have so many ideas and I need to create more and I don't know how to do it. That's then the next stage where you start thinking in terms of scale. And truly scale, I feel, is that stage where you are almost making clones of yourself. It doesn't mean that you're making clones, but it means they're giving your team a lot more empowerment and clarity around what needs to happen so that the business is happening without you. And you are doing more and more of the stuff that you want to do.
My word for 2025 was simplicity, simplify. So everything that I did the year before, I loomed every task and how I did every single task, took the loom, created a transcript, from a transcript, created an SOP in AI. And then from there, one of my team members, she created, we call them playbooks, a playbook for every single step of our funnel and all the work that we do. And now every single person on the team can do those things. And I just got back from a 15-day trip where I didn't have to do anything while I was gone. I had complete spaciousness from the business because my team has the playbook. The other side of that is empowering them because they know enough about me, how I perceive and what I believe, to make decisions without me. You're right. There's the two sides of like systems. And then we're in a point now where we're looking at what actually needs to be human-led and what needs to be machine-led and what can we of the system so that it's even less brain power we have to think about. And we can take that energy and give it more to the client or more to the team or more to the business that allows us to grow even more. Tell me a story about that person and their transformation and how it affected their business and why that work was so powerful for you.
Okay, good. Thanks for the question. So I have probably two sorts of clients, or maybe three. So that's the start, grow, and scale. So there are people who are wanting to do something, they're wanting to start their business, they're coaches, and they're wanting to build a profitable online business, but they don't know how. So with these people, I help them bring that identity shift that is then able to hold that strategy and create the capacity for that growth. So that's the start and grow. Depending on where they are, even if they've been having some success, it's taking that and then giving them the tools of how to exactly message, how to actually do the conversation so that they're converting more clients. Now, typically, as stages go by, the next stage of my clients is people who are good at this. Like they know this. And then this is two sorts of clients. These are people who are either really just busy with their work. And then they're like, well, now I'm very busy with my client delivery. But the minute I finish with my client delivery, now my pipeline is empty. So now I need to go out promote again. So that's a feast famine cycle. Or there are people who are just busy anyway. I get surprised. There can be times where they're even taking 3-4 days or weeks to get back to their leads. So what I do for these people is I offer a done for you service. My done for you service means positioning them as the experts that they are, helping them be that trusted figure online. I do energy healing for people. One of my clients who came in, initially she was wanting to just have people sign up to her $111 membership. And she struggled. People would tell her, oh, this is too much. I can't pay $111.
Okay.
And there was way too much that she was giving in that. It was for every week she was training them. It was just ridiculous price, right? Then as we started working with her, she went for a haircut. And her hairstylist is asking her, okay, what do you do? And she just casually mentions, well, I am doing this coaching stuff. And she just talks about it, but now she has a sense of confidence and clarity. So she's owning herself. And it's just a haircut. The person is asking all the questions and so on. And then at the end, when she's going to make the payment, her hairstylist is, well, here's my phone number. Can you please give me a call because I would like to work with you?
She was in a relaxed place, fully feeling what she was doing. Yeah. So natural. And when you do what you love and you talk about it, it's so natural to get that reaction.
Yeah. And she signed her first $5,000 client. She didn't even go chasing that person. That just happened because it had shifted her energy. And she was so clear with what she was saying that the right person just leaned in.
That's the beauty of really good marketing and branding is it should
Yeah.
work for you and not be so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in terms of my scaling clients, so I had a financial broker who literally had this feast famine story. And he's, well, I get so busy with all the client delivery, then I'm just doing that because they have all these deadlines. And then my pipeline just dries up. So we started working with him. And first month he got his first call. Second month, we'd actually booked 4 calls for him. And this is so good because now I can just do my work. And I know the calls are coming in. I know the people are prepped and I know I can just show up and they're already ready. And it just takes so much of pressure off me and I can just live and finally relax in my business.
It's a great feeling to be able to breathe and just and not be so anxious. It's just busy in some way. It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question from marketer to marketer. If I could wave my magic wand, because I actually have one. Okay. Well, if I could wave my magic wand and make one marketing challenge for you go away, what would that be?
I'll give you the background story. So
Okay.
I've been expanding my Done For You service. And so far it was more in terms of scaling systems. I think I've just almost got it now. So I'm actually trying to think, okay, what is the next one after this? Okay, I'll give you one, a simpler one. I know what to do with my LinkedIn. I know what to do with my Instagram. And YouTube, I just haven't paid as much attention to it just because of the focus. But what specific advice would you give for you?
Oh, so YouTube is a video channel. I would go through YouTube more than I would Instagram right now. LinkedIn for sure, because of what you do. You have to, yes, for sure, you have to be there. YouTube is these 3 specific types of services that you work with. So stay within your content pillars, create some playlists around that content specifically. So it feels very curated for that particular person, and then optimize the search out of it tremendously, and then share it everywhere from your email, your website. It doesn't have to be long form content. Short form content is doing really well on YouTube right now. So like little reels that you'd put on Facebook or Instagram work really well right now. I think I'm going to say this, and this, first of all, you don't have to do everything. And if LinkedIn is working for you, don't exhaust yourself on a tool that doesn't need to be yours. But if you want to dabble in it and you want to kind of test, go be uncomfortable, be on camera, do these kinds of interviews, really test it, grab the best bits, put them in the YouTube shorts, and then take your best written content. So I have a whole repurposing content engine. Take your best blogs, your best social posts, and make a video about them. Because if they did well in one channel, they're probably going to do well in another. Don't reinvent your wheel thinking you have to have like brand new content or exhaust yourself there. You know what works. You know what you're clear about. You know your content pillars. You know your niche. Really just stay inside of that. Practice. I think being on podcasts are great places to find your voice and your clarity. There'll be something from this particular interview. Maybe there's a TEDx style powerful quote you're going to say or something. Build off of that. Don't feel like you have to start from scratch. Do the things that you know already work and just build out that content library further by making it a YouTube short or making it a longer episode that you can just really go and build your authority more inside of. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Build up playlists and libraries of things that build around your content pillars, and then use that content integrated. So on your blog post about clarity, pull in a couple videos into your blog post that link to your YouTube videos if they want to go further. It should be a natural connection to that tool. If it's not, then it probably is not a tool that you should be on. Feel like an extension of you, then it's probably not a good fit. And that's okay. You don't have to be in everything. Please don't be in everything. As marketers, we feel more pressure to be on things because you want to show the clients what's possible on these tools. But I don't work Instagram. My team does because they're 22 years old and they live on Instagram. That's not a tool that I exist on a regular basis. But they do, and they can share my stuff, and it could be Instagram better than on LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn. That's my favorite place, more so than ever, because it's not extremely political. It's very empowering and business minded. So I like it just personally as well. But it needs to be a natural extension of who you are, Kanika. It can't be contrived or something that's not you. So take your stuff that works and maybe start there to make it bigger and more visual. Absolutely, 100% the tool of the year. So my last question, we have spent a lot of time on this call and I appreciate it because it's just been lovely. It's the synergy is so strong and beautiful. This is why I love this part of the work is that get to meet these amazing, strong women who are doing really cool things. But the last question I ask everybody is, what does it mean to you to be wickedly branded? And how do you personally show up as wickedly branded in your life and work? And what could be more bold and authentic to be more wickedly branded in their work as well? What piece of advice would you give them?
I have one word: be unafraid. Just do you. Whatever excites you, whatever really empowers you, just do that and more of that. Letting go of the fear, but almost just being so fueled by what you are creating or by what you are doing that you almost don't even have time to look at the fear or think about all of that, but just be you. That means saying things the way you want them to be, being very clear in terms of what you're saying, not because as much as people would sometimes not want to hear the truth. The fact is that truth is so liberating. It is so healing for everybody. My best feedback, my best stuff, where I have truly moved my business came from just truthful feedback, just clear feedback. So being wickedly branded is just being unafraid of any judgment, of any fear, and just doing you.
So powerful. A great way to end this episode. Fear is just information that I'm about to level up. And so just acknowledge it and do it anyway.
I love that.
This has been an absolute pleasure today. Where can people find you, learn more about you, work with you? Where can they find you?
Find me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Kanika Energy Coach.
This has been an incredible conversation. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Beverly. It was so good just having this chat. It felt more like a chat rather than a podcast interview. So thank you so much for being a gracious host.
Wonderful. To my listeners, I really hope today's episode maybe gave you some magical bit of advice, whether it was the drivers and drainers, whether it's the being unafraid. I hope it lit a little bit of a fire under you and gave you some new ideas, but most of all, inspired you to take some kind of action toward something that felt more you, completely you, in alignment with who you are, what you need. Because here's the thing that I know for sure. Your message matters, your work matters, and the world needs to hear what you have to say. So marketing isn't just about this visibility tool. It's also about the impact that you're going to make in the world. And it's about connecting with the right people in a way that feels completely and 100% in alignment and true to just you. So I want you to keep showing up, keep sharing your brilliance, and keep making magic in the world. And if you ever feel stuck, please reach out to myself or Kanika. You don't have to do it alone. We're here to walk with you, to help you, to guide you. We're here to turn your spark into a wildfire. But until next time, I want to dare you to be wickedly branded. Wow, what an incredible conversation we just had. I hope that this episode lit a little bit of a fire under you to finally bring your brand to life in a way that feels true to you. Remember, clarity is the spark, but activation is that fire and flame that keeps your message and your visuals and your strategy aligned, and the confidence that follows. So does that lovely thing called momentum that you've been waiting for. So if today's episode, if you loved it, make sure you are subscribed to the Wickedly Branded Marketing Podcast so you never miss an insight or a conversation. Until next time, dare to be wickedly branded.